Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Are We Clear Yet? Now, could you ever see yourself living apart from your spouse? When I say apart, I mean apart. You'll see what we mean. Check it out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Are We Clear Yet? We're seeking clarity through dialogue is how we move. I'm in the building with a couple of my dogs, Dub and Al. Al, how you feeling today, man?
Feeling like Macaulay Culkin, man. Feel like I'm home alone. But it's good. It's good. I'm gonna have all the fun I can have to make it happen.
It's a little sad in a way, though. Although his brother just won an Oscar. Shout out to
that. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Very good actor. Dub, how we doing, dude?
Man, I am in a celebratory mood. I received some good news today, so I'm doing a little cheers right now on my little dad glass. You may not be able to see that. We're celebrating all together, I see. But this beautiful. This says dad, noun. Someone who will always say yes when moms say no. Ooh. And the most factual thing, because
starting fights.
My baby girls still have me wrapped around their finger, man. I can't tell them no. But as of today, we are celebrating some good news. We see some good news today. Good news is always good. And so, yes, sir, I'm feeling good. So we're celebrating. How you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling great. Shout out to the wonderful organization known as Buc-ee's. They're not sponsoring, but they're a very lovely organization in the business. And we thank you, Buc-ee's, for providing us with the resources that we need as we go along the interstate. All over the country, particularly in the southeast area. I think they're based in Texas. And shout out to you for the briskets. The briskets and the eggs in the morning. Don't sleep on it. Don't judge it. You got to have it.
Yes. Yes.
That's off the dome. I didn't write that at all. I just had that in my spirit.
Listen, that sounds like a 90s jingle, man. I mean, that was pretty good. Pretty good, bro.
Buc-ee's, reach out to you, boy. But yo, look. I have sometimes you hear statements, like, oh, that's just like white noise. It's just like whatever, like everyone says that. I think this is one of the moments where I kind of agree that maybe there's too many podcast mics out there in existence. Maybe Rode, Ensure, and whomever are making the majority of the mics, maybe they should halt production temporarily, because folks are saying some particularly weird stuff on these devices. And
what you got, bro? What you got?
Weird is subjective. Weird is subjective. Let's hear it. Let's hear it, bro.
Weird is subjective. Subjective. But I have, and I'm sorry I don't have the original source material for the pod that put this on. However, I want to play this media. Maybe my mouse is dead, but we're going to figure that out. And let's check this out and react to it on the other side.
I don't want to live with my husband. I want him to live like down the hall.
Yeah, same.
And like sleep in separate rooms?
Mm-hmm.
Go away.
I would turn
that's 1950.
That side of the house into a dual master. So knock down that wall between those. That's your side. This is my side. You can come stay with me whenever. I can come stay with you, whatever. But we have separate spaces, separate bathrooms, separate.
I wouldn't do it that way, but I would definitely do like a woman cave and a man cave. And
I mean,
like,
sure, but where are you sleeping every night? Are you sleeping in the bed with your man?
100% every night. But throughout the day, I'm trying to read a book.
Necessary.
I'm trying to drink. I'm trying to do the things that I do. I want to play and make up. I don't have time for you coming around here talking.
Just being
Okay.
Let me take a drink on that one.
If there's ever been a waste of space, that might have been it. So
I wanted to take my podcast mic and just throw it clear out of my window right here after hearing that one.
Fellas, that was a skit, right? That was a skit. That wasn't real, was it?
That's the
maybe not.
Dub. I'm thinking to myself, most women that I have met in my lifetime, they have wanted men to be around them, in the sense of most men, sports, they're out there, with their homies, whatever. And most women are saying, Like that's a detriment to our relationship. And most women would say, I'd like my man to hug me, cuddle me, kiss me, be around me. And we've got some women saying, I don't want you around me. Like make it make sense. I'm not getting it. Help me.
Well, as an expert in marriage who's been married 3 times, minus 2.
Okay.
Let me take another drink.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's some interesting mathematics right there.
For those who don't know math, 3 minus 2 is 1. Listen, this is what I would say. So this actually goes back to
independence.
See, hey,
I called you, didn't I?
You called it because I just spoke about this.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was last episode or the episode before that. I just spoke about this. I asked you and Al how much independence is in a marriage. I think I have my Jamaican hat on in that one, my beanie.
Yeah.
How much? And then, and listen, I was supposed to get pushback from, certain members of our group chat that we're in, our little co-ed group chat. And I keep asking you guys, how much independence is in a marriage? How much is it supposed to be? Because listen, they're not alone. There are people who are doing this right now. It works for them.
No, I get it, right? But is this organically happening, or are we like manufacturing this? Because this is is an antithesis of what, in my mind, relationships are about, right? So I still feel like you can be together, and be independent, but it just sounds like we're more talking separation here.
What this is, what we're witnessing, and I know people are going to be like, they were just playing around. They were just being silly and being sarcastic. I'm going to call BS on that because I believe there's a lot of truth in this. So whether they wanted to have some fun with it, at the root, at the nucleus of this is truth in their mind. I don't care what they say. And so what we're witnessing is, unfortunately, an erosion of what marriage is. We're literally seeing live in 4K an erosion where there is this quote unquote marriage, but it's also simultaneously, concurrently, I'm doing my own thing and I'm over here and I'm just the king of this hill, the queen of this hill over here. No. What? No. Now, so here's the thing, and let me just preface this. We live our lives by design or default. Design or default. If you go in and design your marriage to be on some unconventional, quacky, far left, far right, that's what it's going to be. Conversely, you could also just do absolutely nothing, and it just, whatever happens, happens.
Okay.
In this situation, it's the former. And the former, she would like to be in the house, have the title, have all the security, have all the preferences, have all the benefits, but live on her own effectively. Live separate and apart for whatever the reason. I could probably conjure up some reasons, and none of them are good, but for whatever the reasons. And so this design, this kind of quacky design that was kind of articulated here, is a means of obtaining an unhealthy independence. I talk about healthy independence, unhealthy independence in the other pod. This is the classic case of the unhealthy independence, the unhealthy separate lives. I spoke about you're an individual, she's an individual, 2 individuals coming together. She actually just wants to be an individual while also I just so happen to be married too. No. That's not what's happening here. That's not what you want here. What you should want is the design of a marriage where I love you, you love me. I have my own interests, you have your own interests. But yeah, we can have our quiet time apart from each other from time to time. But that doesn't mean we're living separate lives. What she's describing and what they're describing are separate lives. Guess what happens? Like if one person's in one boat and the other person's in another boat, one person goes north, the other person starts going south. Slowly but surely, I can't see what you're doing. Slowly but surely, I can't hear you. I can't see you. I certainly can't touch you. You're going north. I'm going south. And then we want to label it. We want to put that M-word marriage on it. That's not marriage. That's you want to be by yourself. You want independence without accountability, without true relationship, and without intimacy. You can't tell me intimacy can thrive and live in that craziness. There's no way. No.
You sure?
No. Fake intimacy. Control.
So when it's time for whoopee, you just come on over down the hall to
that
the room
intimacy
that I'm sleeping with.
That's clapping. That's not intimacy.
But why do I need to marry you then, Jay? I mean, at the end of the day, if I just want that to clap, then I just need to, hey, coming over, and we good. Like marriage from a foundation standpoint is a contract by which two people agree to live together as a couple for an extended period for the rest of their life. Well, supposed to be for the rest of their lives. And it has affection, status, it's companionship. There's a word, companionship, for the third time. That's what it is. It isn't, I marry you so I can be separate. Like, I don't know. How does that work?
Well, I don't know if it works. First of all, shout out to the person in the chat asking what I'm drinking, which was nobody. But just for those who didn't ask, this is pineapple on pineapple. I got pineapple juice on pineapple Diddy. No Diddy. Pineapple Ciroc. I don't know how that works, Al. Oh, yeah. Yes. Sponsor, yes. I don't know how that works. Listen, I'm not saying that I'm in agreement with it. I'm just saying people do what works for them. And I believe it was Cheryl, I think it's Cheryl Lee Ralph who does it with her husband. They live in actual separate houses. And I don't know how it works. But if it works for them, listen, what do they say in our community? If they like it, I love it. And I guess that really means I ain't gonna do it. But listen, I ain't gonna judge you. I ain't gonna judge you.
But
yeah,
let's
talk about Shirley.
Okay, go ahead. Before you do Shirley, here's the problem, bro. Like, you have the ability to rationalize that, right? And make a decision based on what would work for you. There are people who would literally listen to that, and that would be like a Bible for them, right? So they would listen to that and like, oh, I'm gonna do that too. It isn't, that ain't for me. And that's the problem with society. So social media has a direct impact on a lot of people, how they think and how they move. So they're gonna hear that and think, oh, she do that? I'm gonna do that too. I'm gonna tell my man he can't. Now they could have had something perfect going on, but they listen to this pod, and all of a sudden you're gonna dictate to the man what he can and can no longer do. And then when he gets up and goes to go get what he wanted with you somewhere else, you're gonna say, my man cheated on me. Nah, I almost said bitch, but I'll say, nah, but did I say it? I did, didn't I? You messed up, and you allowed your man to walk down the street to go find another person who's willing to do the things that he wants to cuddle with you. He wants to walk out the room, see you from behind and grab you. He wants to come run up behind you and hug you. And you're going to say, I need separation? I don't know, brother. I don't know.
Yes, and I'm going to be a broken record from now until the end of time. I believe in marriage. I've never been married. I believe in the original design. I believe in the purpose of it, its usefulness, its utility. And I'm not a big believer in ad-libbing something that's already very good. If something is a very good design, I don't really feel the need to unnecessarily tweak it substantially. I'm not talking about cosmetically modifying a bit. I'm talking about, I don't see the need to uproot it and gut it and remove its essential parts. And so going to the Shirley Ralph, shout out Jamaica, she's amazing. And she articulated it very clear. When she met her husband, he was in public office. She's obviously an established Hollywood actress. And they had some decision to make. She worked on the West Coast. He works on the East Coast. How is this going to work? Being a politician is full-time, 24/7. Being an actress is 24/7. You just can't pick up and just go back and forth, especially if you're doing a series, which could go several months at a time. You just can't. It just doesn't really work. So as she describes it by her own words, this isn't me inserting anything into the conversation. She's like, they sat down as adults. They respected each other's careers and where they stood and how they serve and what they provide. And they were like, you know what? Let's do it this way. Now, that's not to say there aren't any other things that we don't know about, but on the surface, that makes a whole lot of sense to me, because what I also heard from her is that they had I think she was on the red carpet in one of these instances. They have a very, again, outside looking in, genuine, close relationship, as in they're going to capitalize on those opportunities that they have to be together, hit the red carpet, hit this party, hit this event, be together physically, especially because of their careers where they're apart so much. They're going to like double down, triple down on the opportunities that they get to be together, thus building and maintaining that intimacy. Now, under the terms and guidelines that's been described in this video, it seems she kind of wants like a as needed husband, as a part-time husband. Whenever I'd like to summon you for X purposes, I want you for those purposes. And when those purposes cease, I would like you to go away. Now, that is foolery. That is kind of gutting and removing the spinal cord of what I believe and what some traditional small-minded people, as they are sometimes called, believe as to be a healthy and strong marriage. That doesn't mean I'm going to be hovering over you while you're doing your mascara. That's no. I mean, I might, because I like you a whole lot and I just want to just show you how much I love you. But that doesn't mean I'm going to be like another shadow to you. And so this is where maturity kicks in. This is probably where I'm leading myself towards. Maturity says, I'm me, you're you. We do different things. We do different things differently. We do things differently. Make sure I got that all together. But that doesn't mean we have to go out of our way to just be apart, just for the purposes of being apart. So I could be over here and you could be over here. Like, we could be in the same room. We could share spaces. We don't have to be doing the same thing. Because guess what, man? Let's just say, and let me end my rant. Let's just say this is a situation where I want to be with you forever. When you get old together, you're going to be sitting on the porch, reading the paper. Maybe we got like freaking, our computers are this small and it's just like, oh, whatever. But that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a lot of just downtime. It's going to be together time. It's going to be a lot of just exchanging these funny stories with each other. Hey, you remember when we used to do that? And I wonder what the grandkids are doing and all that stuff. It's going to be so simple. But in the early stages, I believe, why would you want to just be apart? Why would you just want to be like away from people so much so you can maintain this ridiculous sense of independence and I'm doing my own thing just so? And no, that's so unhealthy. And if you want to be single, be single. If you want to be married, be married. But this kind of weird hybrid thing that she's describing, crazy work. It's crazy work, man. What is that?
Indeed.
What are we doing?
I don't know if I want to hear it though, y'all, because I told y'all in that episode, I said this is a slippery slope. I told y'all this is a slippery slope because
this is like some Diddy baby oil slippery slope. No Diddy. Paul.
1,000 bottles.
Listen, I never said, again, it was probably confused in our group chat. Shout out to our co-ed group chat. I'm 1,000 messages behind, by the way. But anyways.
You'll never catch up. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Somebody will give me the cliff notes. Don't worry about it. I never said there should be zero independence. But what I did say was it can be a slippery slope, and it leads to stuff like this, you know. And it's, to me, is again how much individualism should be in a marriage. Like, a marriage is a union; it is a partnership. We discussed this already, and so now you start to get stuff like this, and so
this is extremist. Okay, that's what this is. It's extremist,
bro.
I would say this, man, and we probably listen. Maybe we can merge this or embed this later on. But shout out. Let's take a drink for Patrice O'Neal. Rest in peace, Patrice O'Neal.
I ain't got nothing left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all right. Patrice O'Neal. He has a very, very funny bit for our subscribers who are listening or watching. Go to YouTube, type in Patrice O'Neal. Ain't that better? And so he kind of says a similar thing, but from a male's point of view, where he's like, listen, and we love women, but we don't need them, you know, we don't need them in our personal space all the time, but we want you around.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not going to, you know, I can't do his bit. Just watch it yourself. And it's like, you know, a guy could be chilling and he's watching baseball and she comes and she's like, ain't that better? Don't you want a nice little bologna sandwich? Ain't that better? And my personal favorite, which is towards the end of that bit, because this happened to me, you know, I'm sitting in the living room, you know, my blinds are closed, and they're like, it's dark in here, and opens the blinds. Ain't that better? And you're like, why are you bothering me? But those should be, you know, like little one-off moments. You know what I mean? Like, not like sleeping in separate rooms. I mean, to me, I thought that was reserved for when there's an argument. And
she said she wanted a wing.
A whole wing. Listen.
You're about to tear a wall down, bro.
Listen, I've said this before. I don't know about men out there, but me, J-Dub, in an event of an argument, I'm going to sleep where I want to sleep. If I'm paying rent or mortgage, I'm going to sleep where I want to sleep in my house. And so we can sleep in the same bed. It's big enough. And if we haven't resolved it before we went to bed, my bed is big enough to sleep back to back or not even touch each other. We can do a little invisible line. Y'all remember that episode where Martin and Gina were trying to see how long they can go without sex, and Martin was drawing his little line in the covers, and then Gina pulled the covers back, and he had a little ice pack on there. He was cheating. Anyways, I have enough room in my bed to, you know, but a whole wing. What is the point of being married if you want to sleep in a whole different wing as a normal thing? I don't know. I don't get it.
We got to go to counseling, man. We got to go to counseling right away. Right away.
Why?
There's something. If I can just use the vehicle, the car metaphor, the car is able to move down the road, but it's giving a little bit of that chugga 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 chugga. You know what I'm saying? It's making some noise. Something's wrong in there. Something's wrong on the inside, and you got to put that thing on the lift and see what's happening. Something ain't right. Why would you want that? Why?
And it doesn't compute, man. It's like ice cream sandwich without ice cream. Like, what do you got? Like, it's nothing. If we're married, we're married. I mean, I think within the marriage, you can make certain decisions and you can make certain mutual decisions. But to walk into a marriage, which is a corporate thing, it's a mutual thing, and say, I want you down there. Why are we getting married? I'm just saying, I think it creates a cloud over the concept or the idea of marriage. Relationally, yeah, you can make whatever work that you want to make work, but to have a demand like you need to be down there, you don't come around me while I'm reading a book. What? How about we read a book together? It just, I'm sorry, man.
Intimacy. Intimacy just isn't like kissy,
right?
Lovey. Intimacy is all inclusive, all encompassing. It's everything. It's early in the morning, brushing your teeth. Bro. Hey, you know what? She doesn't have what she likes in the morning. Let me make sure I refill this. Get this thing over to her. Intimacy is lunchtime. What does she like to eat? Let me make sure. Oh, all right, we can get a little bit more of this, or she kind of likes it this way. Intimacy is nighttime. I might brew the tea for you. You know, you have a special little tea order. Make that tea. That's intimacy. But you can't get intimacy if you're in the East Wing and she's in the West Wing. How that's supposed to work? How?
I mean,
It's
I mentioned
foolishness,
it
man.
before. I mean, listen. I like the moments when she's in the kitchen cooking, and I'll walk up behind her. I may slap a few body parts. I might come hug, and then she looks at me and says, "Get out my kitchen. Why are you crowding my kitchen? Like, get out my kitchen." You know, I like those moments. You know, like how can you experience those moments when you're
with a smile, though?
I don't get it. I don't get it, man.
I think people don't. I mean, you broke it down, Dino, man. The simplicity of intimacy. It's more than just sexuality. It's legit conversation, man. Like we were. It's an index point that we get to just from commonalities. Like I like that, you like that. Wow, you know, let's get there. I just don't know how you do that from the East and West Wing. I mean, maybe Trump and Melania could tell us how that works out, but I'm just thinking like. But, you know, I don't know what else to say about this, man. I think, again, they are desecrating marriage. You may as well stay single and just do what you want to do. You there, I'm here, whatever. But I think when you talk about getting married, I think it's a totality in understanding what marriage really is. And if you're not understanding that, it's really hard to convince somebody that this is a part of what's going to make us better. It's going to create memories down the road that we can actually have conversation about.
Here's the ugly part out loud. So there are, you know, I'm the lone man here. Shout out to our big bro Dre. I'm the lone guy here that's never been married before. Okay. From what I understand, speaking to married people for the better part of the last 10 plus years, there are expectations in marriage. And if we're talking about in any general, common, traditional sense, men that are physically able to are expected to man up. They're expected to provide and protect, be there for their spouse emotionally, physically, financially, psychologically, all the lees. Now, for that to be provided, and I suppose this is rhetorical, don't you think incorporating the same space, having some shared experiences, some shared interests, likes, passions, don't you believe that those things go hand in hand with what the man is going to be providing? Meaning, as I'm doing all those things, I'm also being fed. I'm also being edified emotionally by you, spiritually by you. Well, if I'm in the other wing, if I'm constantly in the other part away from you, there's going to be a lack of connection points. Because if I'm protecting you, if I'm edifying you, if I'm protecting you and feeding you, you know, literally and figuratively, how can I do that consistently in strength in a healthy manner if we're not having these intimate moments throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month? I see that as being rather challenging. Very, very, very challenging. And so, mind you, I know these young ladies are having a fantastic time. You know, they probably have some fun talks on their couch. And maybe every now and then they kind of shoot out some kind of quacky ideas that are just going to catch waves, which are going to cause people to talk about it as we're doing now. However, we got to be kind of careful. We do have a little bit of a social responsibility to some extent, in all seriousness, to not put out too much craziness, because unfortunately people start taking this in and they're like, you know what? Maybe this is a good, maybe she's on to something. Maybe he's on to something. Whoa, hold on. No, maybe we got to stop, hit the pause button real quick and be like, I hear what she's saying, but let me get some additional wisdom on this topic and make sure that I'm applying it appropriately.
I mean, for me, what was your formula, Jay? It was 3 minus 2. So I've been 3 minus 1. That gives me 2, right? And in no time can I recall wanting to be separate from the person I was with. Now, I'm not saying we didn't have separate moments. Obviously, you're living 2 independent human lives. You're going to do things that are going to automatically disqualify you from being with that person 100% any particular day. But the moments that we were together, I wanted to be together. You know what I mean? Like I think organically your independent, or in this case, separate moments happen organically. But when you're dictating that this is what I want for a marriage, why are you getting married? I don't know. I can't say nothing else about this, man. Y'all finna make me I don't know what else to say about this, bro.
Well, first of all, Al, yeah, you were 3 minus 1, so you've been married twice. I mean, I hope I don't step on any toes here, but man, I hope it's not a third time in your future, because I might have to take you myself to probably get Baker acted. Because I don't know who does that more than.
But it's so funny.
More than twice.
But it was so funny, right? Because I was about to put out an ad saying, hey, whoever is next in my life, understand that I desire closeness. I desire togetherness. I don't want someone who's going to come to tell me they want to be independent of me. Then why are you with me? Yeah, I'm trying to make it make sense. Like we talk about make it make sense. I just feel like you want to do booty calls? You want to do what you want to do? We can do that. You can live in your house. I can live in my house. We don't have to be married. But my thing is, if we decide to become married, why are we living a single life?
See, now I want to go back and watch that previous episode, because I'm like, this is what I was talking about. This is what I was talking about right here. Because again, I think the individualism, although you don't want to lose yourself in the marriage,
right?
We need to get back to what a marriage is. It is a partnership.
Correct.
You know, you have to consider the feelings of your partner.
Correct.
Before you move. And I just don't know how much individualism can occur in a traditional marriage and have it succeed. I mean, again, it shouldn't be 0%. I'm aware of that. But we go down a slippery slope where, you know what? Also, too, I want to think, let me ask you guys this. Do you think the length of time in the marriage matters? Because, you know, in the beginning, you know, first 1 to 2 to 5 years, you probably always want to be around each other. Then you start getting to year 7, then year 10, then year 15, then year 20.
But can I say this?
Let me add this, and I think this might address both points. A prerequisite to what I was at least attempting to put forth in the previous pod, Independence Day, I believe it was called. It's going to require in the outset 2 mature adults, okay? 2 mature adults that have come in, that have reconciled some stuff, that have come to certain understandings in their own lives and have done some work on themselves. Those 2 individuals, having shared values, are then going to go and pursue this thing that we call marriage now. Conversely, if there are 2 people that are like, oh, we just good hanging out and, you know, we're sexually attracted and we have a good time, let's just go ahead. You're over my house all the time. Let's just go ahead and get married. What I described are 2 very different scenarios. Okay. In the first scenario are 2 people that are mature, are self-aware, that have discussed their shared values. They've articulated and made those things clear, and then are pursuing this marriage thing. In the second example are 2 people that are just like going off feels. This feels like a good idea. This has just been fun. We spend a lot of time with each other. So F it, let's just do it. In that latter example, you are on a GPS designated course to crash. You just are. It's not to say you're not going to crash in the first example, but you're almost guaranteed to crash in the second one because you kind of thrown caution to the wind. You're just kind of going off what you feel like is right, and there's no shared target there. There's no true shared target. There's no shared true north. First example, you're giving yourself an opportunity, and I would put my money on that bet. Second example, you're kind of winging it a little bit, thereby this slippery slope that you kind of alluded to. The likelihood of falling and bumping your head on that slippery slope is increased dramatically, I think, in that second example, because again, the mindsets, the goals, the target, the day-to-day, that hasn't really been worked through in detail. That hasn't been, the vision hasn't really been cast, and it hasn't really been lived out. Second example, you just kind of going with the wind, going what you feel. And you are living individual lives, and then you're periodically coming together when it's convenient. Recipe for disaster.
So, Al, that couldn't work for you, huh? So this is the importance of, right? Because again, there's between 7 to 8 billion people on this planet, and for the married ones, but it's not a one size fit all. This is why it's important. This is why it's important to do the work and the communication. I mean, dude, if I had $1 for every time we said the word communication, but then also make sure to add open, honest in front of that.
Consistent.
Yes, and consistent. But this is why it's important. You have to find the person that is on the same wavelength. You have to, because guess what? Those girls in that podcast right there, which, by the way, that second one of them said, she admitted, no, I'm not sleeping away from my man. I'm going to do that. But then she turned around and said some other kind of crazy stuff. But this is why it's important to do as much communicating as possible before you make a life decision to get on a knee, if you can. Listen, by the time some of us propose, you may not be able to get on that knee and get up safely.
Man.
But, before you make that decision, you have to make sure you and your partner are on the same wavelength, because that's something that, listen, you can have whatever preference and whatever ideas and thoughts you want to have. But if we're not aligned, then, you're going to be placed in a category. Again, there's 2 categories for men. Listen, I don't make the rules. It is what it is. I'm telling you all the truth, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. There's 2 categories for men, recreation and wifey. And based on what I heard in that clip, that's recreation for me. Or that would be recreation for me. Definitely not wifey.
Bro, that's exactly what it is, man. I mean, at the end of the day, marriage changes people enough to where you don't have to add the foolery. But I think they say both people become less agreeable as they get married. So can you imagine the separation and being less agreeable? So as you're separated more and more and more, you're just fighting more and more and more because you got nothing to build on. And it gets to that, man. I just think at the end of the day, if you want to get married, get married. If you understand the mutuality of marriage, do it. If you just want to be single and get a booty call, have dude down the road, down whatever, just do whatever. But I think you don't put a cloud on marriage by making a mockery of it to make it what it isn't, to satisfy your individual selfish needs. End of the day, get married if you have a desire to head in the same direction, or stay single and do whatever the heck you want. This is what it is, man. I'll drink to that on my own.
Yeah. And, as we put a bow on this, I said earlier, we're really looking at an erosion, and I'm really not trying to be dramatic. We're just looking at an erosion of what it's supposed to be. It's kind of become this laughable institution. It's become a laughable institution because people have taken it and it said, you know what? I know better. I have a better idea. Therefore, I'm going to tweak it and make it into this thing. That thing looks absolutely crazy. Further,
Can I tell you what,
some of the people that are requesting it look absolutely crazy, but that's a whole nother topic for another day. Go ahead. Yeah, I said it. Yes.
I'm gonna even go as far, bro, as to say stick a pin on that for a second. But just think about it. I'm not saying all of us here don't enjoy the recreational aspect of what this could be, but just keep in mind that even though that might be a thing, the idea of marriage isn't muddied to desecrate that institution, to make it something that it shouldn't be. Like, marriage is marriage. Like, let's not dirty it up to make it what it isn't. You know, do what you do, be who you want, but don't do it in the name of that, and then make a mockery of for those who are actually have a desire and an intention to end up in a good place. I just don't think we should do that.
Yeah, I mean, and Dean mentioned it earlier about, you know, people watching, like I said, taking away podcast mics. Hopefully you guys have heard us enough and not decided to take ours away. But yeah, you know, people, listen, people are very gullible. People are very gullible, and people take stuff and all the time and think that it could apply to them. And I mean, not me, but by and large, we are a gullible society and very, very easily influenced.
No.
Which is why people can release fake news all the time. Social media, for the most part, is not a real place. And do you know how many people get depressed? Like, literally depress themselves over things that are not real. Relationship goals, and then that relationship gets divorced. You know, that the stuff that people are showing you, again, couples writing 2 and 3 paragraph love notes on social media, but they're sleeping in separate rooms. For the most part, social media is not a real place, for the most part. And so it's you gotta be very careful. You gotta be very careful when you start putting ideas out there like this, because I don't know how a marriage survives with this type of mindset. I don't see it.
Are you saying the Lion King is not real?
No, man. Mufasa, rest in peace.
Yeah, you know, as we as we cut it here, man, I'm gonna die on the hill of, you know, personal development, maturity, honesty, self-awareness. I'm gonna try to walk in that every day and bring that into whatever situation that I'm in. And I'm hoping and I'm wishing, I'm like praying hands emoji, that the other person on the other side is finding their own way to do that, to practice that, to live that out, and bring that in. So when we come together, we're an unstoppable force. Unstoppable.
Hold on, man. Before we close, listen, we got less than a minute because we're trying to hit this 45-minute mark. We got less than a minute. Look, hey, I want to get to a point where my dog, the host, Dino, gets to a point where he can't say, hey, Al, we don't want Dino to be able to say, well, as a person that's never been married here, this person never been married here.
Look,
hey,
no.
So, listen, hey, hold on. Like, listen, so ladies who are watching this or listening to this, my dog Dino is single. Is a great man. Hey, my dog is hey, listen, nobody's perfect, but my dog's a great dog. Like, listen, ladies, holla at my boy. We need to get this man hitched so that he can say, all right, guys, I'm married now. Let me give you my little 2 cents. But I would say this: your unmarried 2 cents is very good, sir. It's very good.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Hey, I appreciate it, and I more so insert that into the conversation as a moment of honesty, as a moment of just giving the listener an idea of where I am currently and where perspective I'm kind of bringing in that moment. And I'm not like shaming myself or making myself look out to be someone to be pitied or anything like that. You know, there's perks to being single now. Hey. But I believe. I believe in. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're so thankful that you decided to spend your time with the Are We Clear Yet fam. Like us, share us, tell a friend about us, and we'll catch you next time.
Peace.
Yes, sir.